Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner, and this is a special one because today happens to be my birthday. So I got a few goodies here. Most are from my stash, and a couple items I showed in my most recent shopping haul, and another one was from a couple of months ago. So I said it would be a surprise, and here is the surprise. Of course, Olight sent me a birthday light. I'll set that off to the side. So what I got here is a South Korean civilian entree. I have no idea what's in it. I could never get a translation, and only English on here. It has the Cam Sergeant and the manufacturer on the back side. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up first. The smell I'm getting off of this thing smells really good. So there's rice. There are 2 packets in here. This one is a sauce. And it looks like this is another, like an oil. Looks like beef in here. It smells really good. And some veggies. But sometime back, I've probably had these over a year. These are some, I believe, peas from a Taiwanese ration. These are meant to be a snack, but I'm actually going to throw them in here. Because why not? The package shows to put these in after you put the water in, but so this is an oil. This is a very thick paste. I like to put all the stuff in first because I figure once the hot water hits it, it'll help disperse it. It smells like a soy sauce paste. I don't call that good enough for that. There's no oxygen absorber in here. So I am going to go get the kettle for this. I could see that it calls for about 200 mils of water, but there is a fill line in there. In fact, I can put a light on it. So I will get the water and I'll let that start rehydrating, and then I will do the rest. Because this is a gusseted bottom, it stands up. Keep the heat in. I'm going to put it inside this. Got my delicious cup. And I opened up the bag of G7, which is my favorite instant 3-in-1 coffee. That's what that looks like. And because I do not have a cold drink to mix up, I'm going to show you this bottle that I got at Hy-Vee. Sidral Mundet. And it was produced in Mexico. This is an apple soda. And it all fits in the drinking jar. I put the light under it. You can see the texturing on the bottle. I'm going to keep this bottle. I think it's cool. Got CR in the house. Waffles is here. Spicy tuna rolls. Camp Pet Family Compound. I'm going back through the chat. And that's all it's going to let me, it's not going to let me scroll back any farther. I'm just shaking the bag. Looks like those are all in here so far. I'm going to go ahead and bring back the kettle for my G7 coffee. But I'll leave that water handy in the kitchen just in case I do need to add a little bit more to it. Put that back there. This is a Polish bar from a company called Food Force. They have been doing things for Polish rations within the past few years. That's what that looks like. And these are cheddar cheese combos. Why they put the tare notch way down in the bottom or in the middle. I decided to go ahead and go with it. They're a bit busted up, but that's okay. You get those when you buy them in a store anyway. And these sweet biscuits were actually made by Homipsa out of Spain. But this is English and German on here. So Homipsa may have done this for a German ration or possibly an Austrian ration. Very nicely packaged. This thing protected those very well. And then this, I have two of these. I've gotten these in lots of miscellaneous items. This is apple pie dessert spread. This is packed in 2024. It kind of looks like runny peanut butter. But that's what that looks like. Now I'm going to pull the entree back out. I want to see if I need to add any additional water to it. You can tell how dark that has gotten. I think I will get the kettle and just add a little bit. These pouches don't yield near as much as the Mountain House pouches from an MCW will give you. But you can see how dark that thick paste got this. I will put it back in, I'll call this the golden bag. Actually, I might put these here since they actually fit there. And I'll put that there. I'm going to go ahead and open up one more thing. These Dubai chocolates, I got these from Hillel. It says just the fun part, meaning the chocolate in the mini cone, and this one has pistachio in it. I'm only going to put a few of these out. Actually, this didn't open very well, so I'm going to go ahead and help it a little bit. The turn notch might have been above the original seal. I'll go ahead and put a few of these alongside there. Actually, I'll keep this bottle out here too. So that is what these look like. The pistachio is very, very fine pieces. I think in that one you might be able to see it a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and take a taste of this apple soda. A tart, so it's not overly sweet, which is nice. It's not quite as sweet as the aga, as I remember that. Aga may have used a different variety of apples in there, or they may have added just a little bit more sugar to sweeten it. But this is a tart apple, not too sweet. I like it. And when I was back in the store on Thursday, I looked on that same shelf where I got this. There were no other bottles there, so I may have gotten the last one. Oh, this one, you can definitely see the pistachio right there. In fact, I will go ahead and take a bite of this one. These cones are very delicate. The pistachio is just present in there. But these are very good. This is the first time I've had any Dubai chocolate in any variety. I'm just going to set the cap back on there. I may not keep that cap, but since I won't be able to get it back on the bottle, but I'm definitely keeping that bottle. Well, see, you know what to do about it. I think this has been in that bag long enough. Remember, at the beginning I put those Taiwanese peas in there. That is looking very, very appetizing to me. My first taste of this. There's a very spicy kick, and it may be from these peas. There's a tiny bit of crunch left in those peas, but oh yeah, there's definitely a spicy kick, which I like. Why not spice things up on my birthday? Tim Riley is here. Let's see, Frenchy Sandy, also known as Mother Earth Garden Club. Some Korean food can be very spicy, so I think that works with putting those peas in, even though they're Taiwanese, what the heck. The rice perfectly rehydrated. I have no idea what all is in here, but I'm digging it. I just got a tiny bit of the beef. I got this apple pie dessert spread in the middle of this sweet biscuit, but I'm going to take a bite of this by itself. Even with that spicy taste in my mouth, that is definitely sweet. Perfect to put that dessert spread on there. Well, not quite conehead cones, They're better. I just put 3 of them out. I ate one. And that is a Polish protein bar. I'm not sure what flavor. Like a sesame seed caramel. Really good bar. I like that. Of course, these are the cheddar cheese combos. Multi-magnum in the house. Oh, you're not too late. I've only eaten one of my Dubai cones with pistachio mixed in with the chocolate. This is an apple soda from Mexico. A little bit different from what I remember the Aga apple soda was like, what I had in Mexico way back in '86. I have not been able to find that brand up here. I have not been in La Tapatia recently. I should go in there. They may sell this this brand, the Sidra Mundet. And Jarritos may do an apple soda, but that Hy-Vee did not have very many balls of Jarritos in any flavor. So I don't know if they were just out of it, or they had not gotten the new stock in, or they are not going to carry it anymore. I don't know. I didn't bother to ask. I saw this and I just grabbed it. I actually got those Taiwanese peas in the same box as I got this Korean entree. So I thought, you know what? I think I just might put those together and just, instead of just eating those peas alone. And they actually rehydrated. They are spicy. And I think it's a perfect kick to put in this. And the longer they sit in here, the softer those peas are getting. Got G7 coffee in my delicious mug. Got cheddar cheese pretzel combos. Yep, a ration mashup. That's what I wanted to do. So I sat on these, at least a Korean entree, waiting for the opportunity to do something with it, to combine it with other items. And then I got a few different items in to add. And since my birthday fell on a Sunday, I figured, you know what? That's the time to do it. There's a bit of the intense spiciness from these spicy peas, but if you don't get a pea in the bite, then you don't get that spiciness. You get the flavor from the other ingredients, from that savory paste. The oil really didn't have much of a flavor to it. It's actually squeezing out onto my hand as I opened it, and I licked my finger and I did not get any spice off of that oil. My crusher in the house. This is the Korean entree, and I put those peas in it. And this is really good. Now this apple soda is made from tart apples. It's not too sweet. I remember the aga being made from sweeter apples or having more sugar. But this citramundet is very, very good. I like it. I would definitely buy it again. Maybe La Tapatia may have it. I would have to go there to look. But these are those German labeled sweet biscuits, but made by Homipsa in Spain, with this apple pie dessert spread on it. There's a close-up of what that looks like. Got the cheddar cheese combos and the Polish cereal bar. It's got sesame seed in it. And a birthday treat for myself. Got pistachio in these. So they're really good too. Yeah, it sure was. My oldest sister's father-in-law passed away just before Thanksgiving. And of course, now her husband lost his battle with cancer just a few days ago. So that family put up a fundraiser. It's a charity that will go to, the money donated will go to a charity. And as far as, at least according to the obituary, but that they're they're just going to have a private burial. From what I understand, but that's how they're going to do it. But the thing is, like his dad, he went peacefully in his sleep, and that's the best that we could hope for. But yeah, last year was hard. And a friend has gone to DC to deal with the same thing. One of her relatives recently passed, so she's there helping the family deal with that. But yeah, we gotta make the most of what we got and move on. And so that's what's gonna happen. We'll keep moving on. So here's hoping to better year this year. Hopefully we can get done what we need to get done sooner rather than later. And now it's going to be a long road ahead for those who have to do some estate settling. But I got quite a few posts on my Facebook, and then other people commenting on those posts for my birthday today. Yeah, and we don't know why is having such a cancer spike. A lot of us have our theories about it, but we're hoping that someone will really do some digging and find out the truth. If we can figure out why cancer is just spreading all over the state like wildfire, and figure out a way how to stop it, or at least reduce its impact. I did a mammogram and it came out clean, so I'm happy about that. I did the Cologuard sample collection. I shipped that off. So last year when I did a different brand of test, but that one came back clean, so I'm hoping this one will come back clean as well. Yes, yeah, go get yourself something to nibble on. Don't have the technology to share any of this with you. Not quite there yet. Don't have a transporter or a replicator. Oh, that sounds like a good time. I hope it is. That's the benefit I have of my siblings all being here in the same city. I don't have to go very far. Well, thanks for dropping in, John. As my brother being here in town, he still owns his land in Arkansas, but he plans on staying up here at least for a while. I think his aim might be to get enough money saved up to do some major reno of the house down there because he bought the land and the old double wide with a little bit of a side extension was a bonus, but it's having some major issues, so because it's so remote, it takes an hour just to get into the nearest town where he could go to a store to buy supplies. Plus, I think he wanted to be up here close to mom because with her health the way it is, we don't know how much longer she's going to be around. And my sister, who had the ankle surgeries, she had to have it done twice because the first time the repair didn't completely take. The surgeon didn't like how it was healing up, and so he had to do some more. So that pretty much killed her chance of going back to her previous job, which was at a daycare center. So she has gone on permanent disability. So physically doing that job, especially in the baby room, is just something that she can't do anymore. And of course, being that now my sisters and I, now all being 60 or above, trying to find another job can be easier said than done. My sister, who worked for the TSA, but took the buyout and got several months worth of paychecks instead of being fired on the spot with no severance. Even though there were no disciplinary marks on her employment record, it's just the way that it worked. She is free to pursue other options. I just don't know what she has settled on yet. And as far as unemployment benefits, that kind of a deferred resignation, so to speak, where you quit working but you get 6 months worth of pay, I'm not sure how that would be treated. But she holds on to her IPERS, which is a pension system for government employees, all the way from federal down to the local. Say, if my oldest sister, who works for the Des Moines Public Schools, she continues to build up her IPERS while she remains employed by the public schools. But then once she fully retires from substituting and being an associate, which she plans on doing in a few years, once she reaches the full retirement age of, I think right now it's 67. Then she will not only get to draw from the IPERS that she has accrued, plus the Social Security, so when my second oldest sister, who is in between jobs, so to speak, while she looks for something to do until she can fully retire, her IPERS will remain there. If she does not get a government job, then she can roll that into an IRA, individual retirement account, and then she can earn whatever she gets from that job, and then when she retires, she can draw on her IPERS and the Social Security. And I did a little personal digging. That someone who is on Social Security disability, once that person reaches retirement age, at least from what I saw, it was 65, but it could be 67, then the benefit just changes over to straight up Social Security. The person does not have to do the yearly or biennial recertifications. So you don't have to mess with all that stuff. And you can go back to work but not lose any of the monthly benefit. And there are people who get Social Security, but they, the full benefit, but then they chose to go back to work in order to supplement that if they didn't have a pension, or just to have something to do. They don't get their Social Security benefit reduced. Some of it may end up being taxable, but you don't get it reduced because you're earning an additional income. Yep, that's exactly right. We don't know when it'll be our time to check out, so we just go after it until we can't do it anymore. My oldest sister's father-in-law, and for a time, her husband both worked for Hy-Vee, and because the father-in-law retired from Hy-Vee, he got a good pension. So he used that to supplement his Social Security benefit. And then after his wife died, yeah, if her, yeah, he got the death benefit, and if her Social Security was higher than his, then he got the higher amount. Just like after my dad died, his Social Security benefit was a little bit higher than my mom's, so she got switched to what his amount was. And speaking of my mom, she found out that after her most recent rent increase, she's hitting the cap on how much she can be charged for rent in the building that she lives in. So if she's still with us next year and the cost of living adjustment goes up, or just say like, let's call it like 2.5%, like the cost of living adjustment was for 2026. Her rent cannot be increased 1 cent. It will stay at its current level. Or at least when her next year lease kicks in. My oldest sister is still paying on the mortgage on the house, but she almost has it paid off. So by the time she is fully retired, she will have that paid off, so she will own it free and clear. She'll only have to pay the property tax. And my two other sisters who share a house, even though my one sister is now on disability, she still contributes to paying the bills. But with my brother there, he is paying some of the expenses. So that way there is not as much of a burden on my sisters. Plus with him up here, when he's got his days off from Home Depot where he works at the South Side Home Depot. If my mom has a medical appointment and my three sisters are not available, my brother can take her to that appointment. Although I have encouraged her to apply for paratransit. But she has not done that. Dang, I like the flavor of that apple soda. I will definitely look for that again. This has a bit of texture from the apple. It's got the cinnamon in it. And some of the other flavors that you might find in an apple pie filling. And this is a 2-ounce packet, so I like the size of that. That is a very good addition to U.S. rations. Oh, that's okay, CR. You stuck in it long enough to see what I'm eating for dinner. But this Korean entree with those Taiwanese spicy peas in it, yep, this works. That spicy kick comes in at the back end. But this is really, really good. And these are a nice contrast to that. I could probably find something similar to this in Asian grocery stores. Who knows? Maybe it would be worth a look. It'd also be neat to have a full, complete South Korean ration. I'm assuming that being this is in a red bag, it's civilian. And the green ones, I've seen those on eBay a couple of times. Those are legit military. But I've only seen the entrees alone. I've never seen a complete South Korean ration. At least in looking for myself. I think there may have been one or two reviewed, but it's been a while since I've last seen a South Korean real military ration, a complete one reviewed, not just an entree. Or this G7 coffee is made in Vietnam. I got introduced to that at an Iowa YouTuber meetup that took place at a park with a lake here in Iowa called Lake Miami. I think it is a county park as opposed to a state. But we had YouTubers from other states come up, and plain old Chuck, he had some of that on him, and he was drinking it, so he gave me a packet. I was hooked. I guess he brought a whole mess of it up with him, so he gave me few packets, and so I've been after it ever since. And Attack of AOK Forging and Adventures, she likes it. That's one of her go-to instant coffees, but she will brew regular coffee and then drink that straight. And when she has her Coleman stove. Shadow Scout Suite in the house. It is already January 12th there in his little piece of Sweden. Thanks for dropping in. And yep, I got my G7. I put 2 packets in the mug so I could fill it, have a more fuller cup. And this is the apple soda. I'm really digging it. I'll hold up the cap. Sidral Mundet. It is made in Mexico. But this bottle is cool. I really like this bottle. It's got texturing. It's got the raised letters. This is a keeper. Even though I possibly could get a nickel for this bottle, but I'm going to hold on to it because I like it. Yeah, for the export market, they will put these labels on there to show that in the States where they have the bottle and can deposit, you can turn it in to get that, but this bottle is a keeper. Of course, I got my birthday light. Olight sends a free birthday light in the month of your birth to any of their loyalty program members who are yellow diamond or higher. So this is my third birthday light. I had an extra one of last year's light design. I gave that to my oldest sister for her birthday in October. But I thought I'd just put that out here just for the heck of it. Got the cheddar cheese pretzels, also known as combos. This is a Polish cereal bar. Got sesame seeds in it, like honey. It's made by a company called Food Force. So Artpo contracted with that company to make some of the ration components. And these sweet biscuits, which have German and English on them, were actually made in Spain by Humipsa. So these are made either for German ration, could be an Austrian, but I'm leaning towards German. And I have this new apple pie dessert spread on there. And this stuff is pretty good. It's thick, which you want. It kind of looks like a peanut butter, but it is apple. And that goes well with the sweetness of these biscuits. And then these cones here, they have pistachio mixed in with the chocolate inside of these little cones. Oh, that's actually pistachio cream underneath the chocolate. That's what that is. Instead of chocolate with pistachio mixed all the way through it, it's a pistachio cream underneath the chocolate. Wow, Shadow. Dropping me 100 kroner. That's much appreciated. That's a birthday surprise. Thanks for doing that. That's much appreciated. So that is roughly $10, give or take a cent or three. And a cute, that's a super sticker. A rather cute one at that. Well, thanks. I do appreciate it when someone does drop a super chat or super sticker or super thanks on any of my videos that have that option available. I'm not one of those who constantly begs for it. I just, that option is there for whoever wants to take it. Just like my channel memberships. Elsie became a member, so I posted a shout out. I did a post shouting her out for doing a channel membership. Of course, I have a Patreon, I have PayPal, I have links, but again, I'm not one of those who is constantly asking for donations unless I'm doing a fundraiser for something else, like after another Iowan country prepper who died. I made a bunch of strings of ranger beads and I sold them. And the money that I collected from them was given to his widow. And just to make it a nice round dollar amount, I just kicked in a few extra dollars myself. Just because I wanted to do that. So I didn't sell very many of them, but enough where I was able to give her something. But that was the only time that I was actually asking for money, other than I had a fundraiser up for getting a trike to replace the previous one that was stolen. Of course, that one got stolen. And I'm just not going to try that again. I don't have a safe place to keep a trike, so I don't dare try. Although I might, if a company that makes e-bikes and e-trikes offered to send me an e-trike to test and review, I would definitely consider it. We have cameras in the building now and on the outside. Not in the stairwells yet, but I did ask about that. And apparently that will be in the works. We have them in the halls. We have them on the outside of the building and in the laundry room. So I'm happy that the security is being upgraded. They just need to do something about the code boxes then. And I gave them another reminder that those have not been working for who knows how long. They're fishy. Shadow's going to get his coffee. That should make you happy. Just for the sheer heck of it, I'm going to take a piece of this pretzel that did not, that lost its cheese filling or broke off of one. I'm just going to put it on there. It gives it a little crunch. It might cut the spiciness of those Taiwanese peas, I'm assuming are wasabi. But it does dull the flavor of the rest of the entree. Dang, this stuff is good. Well, thanks for dropping in, Diana. Glad you made it here. So this is Citron Mundet apple soda made in Mexico that I found at a local Hy-Vee store. The only bottle they had, so I grabbed it. It's tart, like a tart apple or a blend of tart apples. It is not as sweet as what I remember Aga was, the apple soda that I had when I was in Mexico. That one was sweeter. And then I got G7 coffee from Vietnam. It's a 3-in-1 coffee, my favorite 3-in-1 coffee. German sweet biscuits, but made by Homitza in Spain for German ration. And on that is this apple pie dessert spread in a 2-ounce packet, which is awesome. These are the perfect thing to put that dessert spread on there, because it's like you get that sweetness like you might get in an apple pie crust. This is a Polish cereal bar, like honey sesame seed. Got the cheddar pretzel combos. And then this cone is Dubai. Yes, Dubai chocolates are the rage. Everybody's after them. And because this has pistachio, ooh, this could be different. And it's actually pistachio cream underneath the chocolate. I like it says just the fun part, meaning the cone with the filling without the ice cream. There are several more back in the bag, but I only put a few out to start. And of course I have my birthday light that was sent to me by Olate. That's a free gift to any of their loyalty program members at Yellow Diamond or above in their membership level. So this is my 3rd birthday light. I am at the Red Diamond level. And then there's Black Diamond and then Legend after that. And then that's the top You can't get better, you can't get higher than that. I had this little packet of Taiwanese spicy peas. I put those in there. You would normally eat those as a snack or maybe a topping, but I put those in there to allow them to rehydrate along with the rest of the food in this South Korean beef and rice. And they have a spicy kick to them, which I like. Nice bit of kick to the rest of the entree, which doesn't have a whole lot of spiciness to it. It's got seasoning, but it wasn't intentionally made spicy. But I figured, let's throw them peas in there and see what that does. And I like how it turned out. And I just finished that off. Yeah, they do a different pattern every year. And this time they did the happy birthday on there, which I thought was pretty cool. This takes AAA batteries. You can also put 10440 batteries or rechargeable batteries in this. 10440 is like it's a AAA size battery, but it's a lithium ion battery or a nickel metal hydride rechargeable battery. So you can be versatile with the batteries in this particular model, but you get a different color pattern each year. Yeah, Olight.com. There's also an Olight app. And I have a variety of their lights. Some of them I carry daily when I go out. Others I leave here at home. I have various models that, for instance, this sphere, which is a successor to the O bulb. This has different patterns on it, and the Olight app, you're supposed to be able to remotely control things like this, or their newest O-lantern. They call it the Smart One, but I don't have that. And there's a strip light called the O strip. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Olights, but I like to use these and the other lanterns that I have as emergency lights. And because the O strips plug into a USB port, although their newer one plugs into a standard wall outlet, but you get a connector and you can connect two together. But I could plug that into a power station, string that up along the wall, and have emergency lighting. I also have USB powered Christmas style lights, and then I have another string that uses two AA batteries. Those can also be emergency lights. One thing I might do, I might get this extender for the O-strip 2 and connect it to the one I already have and see if it will work for the kitchen tent for the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow. I would have to measure the length of that tent, see how long the strip would need to be. And then I would put a power station nearby to plug that into. Because the cord, otherwise have to have an extension cord to plug it into the outlets that are there at the park. But I could, just with the remote, I can set a specific color or pattern. But, that's something to think about. But, yeah, I have lights that I keep charged up or batteries nearby so I can pop the batteries in, have them as emergency lights. In fact, I gave a larger O bulb to one of my in-law great nephews. In fact, the younger one, and then the older one got a bike light. So that he has something to put on a bike or trike. If he already has one, or you could just hold it and use it as a flashlight. But I got a message from my in-law niece, their mother, and she said the boys love their new lights. So I knew they would. And I have a bunch of the i3E models, which are smaller than this, that next time we do a giveaway at the end of the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow, we did not do that last year, but I had all those i3Es on me. I put them out 2 years ago, and they were a hit, so I have a bunch more of those that I will put out. In fact, I will mention that at an upcoming committee meeting. We already had the meeting for this month, but later this month we're having what you could call a post-dated holiday party. Last month was busy for everybody. Some people were out of town, others are sick. But I already have my gift wrapped up, and then I have a couple of different ideas on the food that I will take to share. A couple of months ago, I think November, I came home with that package of ladyfingers, and then in my shopping haul for January, I brought home that jar of a Nutella knockoff. It looks like it's made with a milk chocolate instead of a dark chocolate. I have not opened that jar to taste it, but I think what I might do, I might put that on those some of those ladyfinger cookies. And I also have those apple turnovers that I got. They came from Hy-Vee, but there's only 8 of those, so that might not be enough. So, because I have more of the ladyfingers, I will probably end up going with those. Yeah, that's the best time to buy them, is when they have sales. But in their Facebook groups, you may find people who are selling either some of their extras. They would buy several of a model during a sale, and then they would sell the extras to those who were not able to get them during a sale, or something happens and they need to sell off part of their collection in order to get money to pay for a sudden expense, like someone needed money to pay for treatment for a pet, or someone had an illness and they couldn't work for a while, so they needed money to pay a bill or just buy food. So you may find them at a discount that way, or people sell them on eBay. Or sometimes you may get lucky and win one. Yeah, something like this i3T2, or even the i3E, which I have on my keys. It gets so beat up that the green finish is worn off. But start out something like this, then that'll be your first, an inexpensive way to get into these. But I have also given them as gifts. I gave out 9 last month to relatives and in-laws. Some of them I bought off of other fans, as we call ourselves. And some had just sent an extra, or a couple of them I had gotten free that I'd won, or I used a member perk. And we have, when in the loyalty program, has something called coins, that you can spend them like cash, like a a store reward, like my Walgreens balance reward. I accumulate a balance that I can use to buy stuff with. So I'm building up those O coins so that I can get a model that I currently don't have that I would like to have. And in the month of your birth, when you buy something off the site or through the app, and during what's called the OFAN days, your points, your loyalty points, and the O coins are doubled. And you get, every day that you just log into the site or through the app, you get 5 points. But during your birth month, then that gets doubled to 10. And during some of the sales, they have what's called a lucky wheel, and then other opportunities like a daily login where you can earn points and O coins and end up with maybe a coupon or a free item that you can get. And I've gotten a couple items that way. Nope. And with my, I have the O Station X, the AA version. I have it full of fully charged batteries. There's a AAA version, and then there's the O Station 2, which can, and the 2 Pro, which can do both sizes of batteries at the same time. But with their newest version, you can do the nickel metal hydride and right now the Olight branded lithium ion. I have a pack of the AAA version. These have not been opened. This there's 12 batteries in here. I eventually will get one of the O Station models that I can use to charge those. Then I will get additional batteries. I have 2 of the AAA batteries in my carbon monoxide detector. And then I've had those in for over a year. And it's still going. I actually tested that late last month just to make sure it was still working, and it is still going. Yeah, I had heard of Interstate Battery. My late dad used to buy batteries from them. I think he liked getting vehicle batteries from them. But as far as batteries for lights and anything like that, he liked to go there for batteries back in the day. I have never dealt with them, but based on what my dad was able to get, he was able to get unusual types of batteries that would be needed for certain things that he had to work with. He and my mom, as their final part of their careers, they managed apartments in and around the area until they retired in 2006. But and the various properties that they managed, my dad would have to go get certain types of batteries, and he liked to go to interstate. I think he had a business account set up with him so that he could buy in bulk if it was a type of battery that he needed to have a whole bunch of them on hand for use in the various properties. So yeah, he liked doing business with them. Yeah, if the last place that my parents lived before they retired was on 86th Street. There's a school across the street from the house that they lived in. And after they retired, they went down to Arkansas and rented a house in Hot Springs Village inside of the gated community, or the homeowners in that HOA who do not live there full time will rent their houses out either as a standard rental like my parents did, or as a vacation rental. And we did that a couple of different times previously. It goes through a real estate agent that the HOA contracts with to manage all of the rentals as well as any sales. So we would rent a house for a couple of weeks, and then we would leave. They would restage it for the next group to come to rent it during their vacation stay. But for the standard rental, like my parents did, they had a lease, so they were on it. My maternal grandmother was on the lease because she went down there with them. And then she died in August of 08. And in October of that year, my dad got diagnosed with cancer, so my parents decided that they better haul tail up here, so they told the owner of the house that they're renting that they're coming back up here, and he actually helped them pack. He did not charge any early exit penalties for cutting the lease short. He came over, helped them pack, and helped them load up his truck and my sister's vehicles. So then someone else moved in after my parents left. Yep. My parents had to follow the same rules as everybody else did. They could not change any of the landscaping. They could not remove a plant. They could not add any additional. They had a specific area where they were allowed to have any outdoor furniture. They couldn't have, and my mom couldn't have a personal garden. So if you want to have any plants, they had to be in pots so you could have them inside. You know, put them outside, but any plants you had to be in pots. But my mom had to spend, my parents had to look after my grandmother until she died. And by the time that August of 2008, that pretty much exhausted him emotionally. Yeah, that's what cancer does to you. Now, because Hot Springs Village is a tourist town pretty much, I didn't blame the HOA for being pretty heavy on their security. Everybody who was either living there permanently, staying there temporarily, had to have a sticker in their windshield. Or at least a temporary card. For those who are just vacationing there, you got a temporary card that you put on your dash so that the gate attendant would see it. But for those who lived there permanently, they had a sticker that they would put on their windshield. Of course, every time you get a new vehicle, you had to get a new sticker. But the 3 houses that I had seen down there, stayed in two, visited another, the one that my parents and my grandmother were living in. They're pretty nice. But I was not a fan of some of the rules that they had. In fact, I think my my parents' landlord, the owner of the house that they rented when they were living in Arkansas, he sent up a card, a sympathy card, after my dad died. And I think he sent up a Christmas card to my mom. So he kept in touch with my mom for a while. I don't know if that guy's still living or not, but he just wanted to make sure she was holding her own after my dad died. They were married 47 years, and they had dated 2 years prior to that. So almost 50 years. Couldn't quite make that, but we were happy that they had as much time together as they did, because hard to find marriages that last that long these days. But my mom, after her mother died, she donated her body to the Genesis Cancer Research Center in Memphis, Tennessee. Then after my dad died, his body went to that same facility. And she has already registered herself. They will take a donation even if the person did not have cancer. So my dad had cancer. My maternal grandmother had cancer. She is at an elevated risk because of the family history. She has COPD. She uses oxygen at night and sometimes during the day if her oxygen level is below 90. She has a pulse ox that she has in her purse, so when she goes out, that's part of her EDC. So she can check it on the go. So I have one of those. I don't carry it, but I have it in one of my first aid kits. So it's a good item to have. Like, I think someone gave that one to my mother. She did not buy that one, but someone gave it to her. I bought the one that I have because it's a good medical prep to have, but she carries that as part of her EDC every time she goes out. If someone takes her to a grocery store, if she doesn't do online order and have it delivered, or one of my sisters and goes and picks it up, or she's got a doctor's appointment, she's got that pulse ox in her purse. And every time we go hang out at a sibling's house, she's got it. Or we go to an in-laws and she's got it. But she carries that little Anchor power bank as well, the one that I gave her. So I bought 2 of these. I gave her one. And then a year later, I gave her 2 different lengths of the USB-C cords. She has a 10-footer, but she doesn't always want to have that. That was the only USB-C cord other than the original one that came with her phone, but you know how notoriously short those are. But I gave her a 3-footer and a 6-footer, so she could have a couple of choices as far as cord length. One of them is an Anchor branded cord, the other is not, but they're lengths that would be a lot easier to manage, so she can pick the length that she wants for wherever she's going to be. Of course, a few years before that, I gave her an Olight i3T and some extra batteries to go with it. Then I gave her an O-bulb that's similar to this, but an earlier version of the O-bulb, and a little plug-in base that this can sit on because it's magnetic charging. I have a plug-in base that this can go on, and it has a USB port to plug in something else. So she can keep that O-bulb charged up, and then when the power goes out, she's got a little light that she can set. She can take it to the bathroom to have as a night light in the bathroom, because she keeps a night light in the bathroom. She actually has one in the kitchen, but she could take something like this, move it around wherever she needs it. And of course, a couple years ago, my mom got a bunch of those little key knives. So when they're open up, they're almost as long as this biscuit. And I tossed up a Facebook post about my mom wants people to up their EDC game. Of course, I buy my mom the only antacid tablets that she can tolerate, the Walgreens mint version of Tums. The mint flavor is the only one she can tolerate. The others she cannot, so I like to buy those for her whenever Walgreens has like a 2-for-1 deal. Then sometimes she may get 2 at a time, but sometimes I just may buy her one. But I also buy her honey occasionally because, like me, she takes a spoonful of honey at night before going to bed. And when we go to the lake every summer, I bring the honey. I get one of the smallest containers that I can. And we'll do that. One year, one of my sisters wanted some honey for a recipe, so I said, yeah, sure, go for it. And there was still plenty for my mom and I to use at night. And when I started doing it, I had no idea that she was. Until I took a bottle with me to the cabin. Oh, yeah. So I just shared it with her, and I've been doing that ever since. And of course, I make sure that I have a first aid kit on me. Even though my sisters may have it, I still choose to, because sometimes I may have what they don't. Of course, I also maintain the first aid kit at the mosque. I will replace anything that has been used or has expired. Like if some band-aids have been sitting there for a while, I'll just take them out, put in fresh. And those biofreeze patches, 5 of those take the amount of space of one of those instant cold packs. And they have a much longer shelf life. So I put in some fresh gauze, some fresh band-aids, some antibiotic ointment packets, stuff like that. I replace a cheap crap plastic tweezers with metal ones. So, yeah, I do that. And I recently, there's a smaller box near the kitchen that has band-aids in it. I replaced all those, and then I put in their five, those burn gel packets. A little box of 5 burn gel packets I showed in one of my hauls. That was a December one. Or I'd gotten those with the last of my spending allowance from my insurance company. I have the quarterly allowance plus the earned rewards for doing certain things. I got a box of the burn gel packets. So now there's something burn specific near the kitchen. And now that I have a fire blanket, thanks to my oldest sister, I'm going to get one for the mosque. I'm going to look for the largest one available. I figure that would be better for the kitchen. We have a 10 burner gas stove with 2 ovens. Although we have a fire extinguisher next to the women's bathroom, I think the fire blanket might be a good addition. Especially if I can find a bigger one. And with Ramadan starting in February, next month will be the time to do it. Now, thanks for dropping in, Diana. Good to see you in here. I like taking a drink of the coffee after having a bite of one of these biscuits. I'm going to eat the last one of these. Actually, I'll do what I did for the second one. Chocolate on top. And you got the pistachio cream. Unless you're allergic to nuts, I recommend these. This company is actually called Just the Fun Part. JustTheFunPart.com. And their social media. But being that was a birthday treat for myself, I thought I'd go ahead and open those up, try them on camera. I didn't have a cake to put a candle in, but the light will serve as a candle. There's still a fair amount of this it's filling in here. And I'm just going to squeeze it all out. Actually, I'm going to see who packed that. This was done by Thermopack. Just thought I'd let you know that, just in case you're curious. I'd say Thermopack got that one right. Take a drink of my apple soda. A tart, good contrast with the sweet. I don't mind that a bit. These do break kind of easily. They're not super hard, so they're an easy one to eat. So whatever ration those came out of, hopefully there was some kind of a jam or jelly or other spread to go along with it. But even on their own, they're good. They're not too, they're sweet but not overly sweet. A good base for this apple dessert spread. So it just broken my fingers like that. Oh, Pumpkin! She was taking a peek over the edge of my little table. I'll move this over. Pumpkin! What's in your little kitty man, Pumpkin? She likes to go back and forth. Pumpkin. You know what? My viewers like seeing the kitty. They like seeing the kitty, Pumpkin. Yes, they do. They like seeing the kitty, Pumpkin. They like seeing the pretty little torty girl. Yep, Pumpkin. They like seeing the pretty little torty girl. She likes to go back and forth under the chair that I'm sitting on. I guess that's just her way of wanting to be around me, but that is what she does. She'll probably get that kitty motor going. I guess she woke up from one of her cat naps. Is that right, Pumpkin? Was you taking a cat nap? Was you taking a cat nap before you came in here, Pumpkin? Pumpkin. She'll take the toy, but then she'll just put it down. Oh, there she got it. Or she may move it once. That's just how she is. That one has a pocket that you can stuff it, and the little bit of catnip that I was able to grow on my deck, I dried that, and then I crushed the leaves up and put them inside there. Thanks for dropping in, Tim. And again, thanks to everybody for coming out for my birthday dinner special. I'll leave it on here for a little while longer. Probably slide this back on just a tad. I might get another one of these cones out. Yeah, a couple of them. Those other two big boxes of mint chocolates that I have, I'll probably take those to the White Eagle Committee party later this month. I have to look at it to see how many is in each one, because I really didn't look at that. They're pretty good sized boxes, but who knows how much space is in between each piece. And I'll look at the ingredients on there just to make sure that there's nothing in there that may be a potential allergen to some people. Because that Polish bar with the sesame seed in it, I could not give that to another friend at the mosque because he is extremely allergic to it. He could have one sesame seed and it'll be enough to send him to the hospital by ambulance. Next time I talk to his wife, I probably should ask him if they ever thought about carrying Eppies or if he could even use them. I got a couple more of my Dubai pistachio cones out. Sip of the coffee tastes good after eating that. Something about when you have coffee with your chocolate. I don't know, just something about it. Well, there's a super chat dropped by Melanie. Thanks for doing that. That's much appreciated. It says, been listening in and out. Happy birthday. And some stickers on there. It's a $4.99 super chat. That's a US dollar, since she's inside the US. Pumpkin, you gonna make another appearance? Yeah, there's a pumpkin. There's a pretty little torty girl. There's a pretty little torty girl. Earlier, Shadow dropped a 100 kroner super chat. That's equivalent to 10 US dollars, give or take a cent or three. Now I'll move this back so they can see the kitty pumpkin. Yeah, pumpkin. The pretty little torty girl. Yeah, pumpkin. What did you say? Pumpkin kitty. So with these two super chats, once they reflect in my revenue tomorrow, I will definitely be over the minimum threshold for payout. So then everything on top of that I earn up to the time that the payouts get processed in the last week of the month, when I get that money will go back to the channel. I can use it to either buy rations, or I can buy something that would help me improve my video production, like the phone mount. I was part of one of those payments to get this phone mount to replace that really old white one that I had. Finally broke. And I'm definitely liking this one. It can handle the wider phones, even with the case that it would be in. The clamp that holds it to the desk or table is a lot better. You can tighten it. It can adjust to a wider variety of thicknesses, which I like. And then the bendable arm itself is a lot beefier. And the actual clamp that the phone goes in has an additional way to adjust it beyond the pivot, which I really like. So, I could buy a piece of gear to test, and I've done that. Or it could be used to pay a bill that would be specific to being online. I could use it to pay my cell phone bill, although this last payment that I did actually paid for 2 months at once. So I could go ahead and make a payment at the end of this month, and that would get March paid off, so I wouldn't have to do it then. Or I could, I could buy a prize for an upcoming giveaway, because I am going to do a 1,500 subscriber giveaway. I have a few items already in mind for it. I need to get an appropriate size box. I want to see if I can fit one item that I want to include in that box. Pumpkin, there's nothing in there for you. There's nothing in there for you. That's not for kitties. She likes to get into things that are not for her. You can't have everything in this place, Pumpkin. No, you can't. Some of it's mine. She's off to my right, so she's not in view. Silly little girl. And she was a silly little girl. But my YouTube post that I put up for tonight's stream, I tossed up a picture of Pumpkin. I definitely want to get some more of the Sidral Mundet apple soda. This stuff is awesome. It's a nice, refreshing change from the other sodas that you might find. Now, Jarritos has a tamarind flavor soda. It looks a little bit like this, a slightly different shade, but it's still kind of a brownish, almost like a very light tea color. But I really wanted an apple soda to kind of bring back that memory of the Aga apple soda that I had in Mexico back in '86. I couldn't find Aga, but I found this one. And I'm happy that I did. I like it. This is a 12-ounce bottle, or 355 ml. But I'm keeping this bottle. This is just too cool. I'm not going to keep the cap. After all, you gotta deform it to open it. They can see it has an apple. So that's going into my little trash bag that I have off. It's actually behind my tablet. I'll put this back over here since she went elsewhere. But I'm glad I found this one. Like I said earlier, I'm going to have to go to La Tapatia to see if they have any more of this Citral Mundet, or if they have any other apple sodas. That's a flavor you don't find too often. But I think in Mexico it's a big thing. Because I found the aga everywhere. And the little tienda that was near the house that I stayed in down there, I would get it along with a bag of ketchup and lemon flavored corn chips. That's another odd flavor that you may not find up here, but I liked them. Took my V in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I ate everything that I had planned on eating. I still have some more of these cones, but I think I'll save these for another day. I might actually put these in the fridge. Just to store them in there, because for some reason I like my chocolates cold. But underneath the chocolate there's a pistachio cream. I got these in Hillel Groceries. This I found in the Hy-Vee that is near the Dart bus station. I'll have to look in the other Hy-Vee that I frequent, which is the one near my mosque. I get stuff for the mosque in there on occasion. But sometimes I do my own grocery shopping there. I'll have to look in there to see if they have it. Otherwise, I'll have to go to La Tapatia and see if they have it there. But this is made in Mexico. It's tart. Not overly sweet. So it's made from varieties of tart apples. It's made with cane sugar, which is nice. Says it does have apple juice in it. Does have the caramel color, whatever the heck that is. Has some other few other preservatives in it, but nothing really funky. It's imported by TIPP distributors out of Texas, but it's made in Mexico. But I'm happy with this. I had no idea what to expect from it. I just wish I could find the aga that I had when I was in Mexico, but that's a good substitute. Not as sweet as the aga that I remember. I remember that one being a bit sweeter, so made with sweeter varieties of apples. Or this one was, of course, the acids in here. The citric acid gives it some tartness, but I'm guessing the juice that was used was probably from tart apples. But yeah, I like it. So for the Korean entree was rice with a little bit of beef and some seasonings, and then a flavored oil, and then a dark soy paste. I really couldn't call it sauce because it was pretty thick. I mean, it was as thick as honey. Then I had those Taiwanese wasabi peas. I got them in the same mystery box that the Korean entree was in, among other things. I decided to put those peas into the entree before I put the boiling water in, and then that gave it some kick. And I had this German sweet biscuits, but they were actually made by Homipsa in Spain. Homipsa is making components for rations of other countries in addition to Spanish rations. So Homipsa made those biscuits for a German or possibly Austrian ration. Most likely German, I would guess. But they were a good base for that apple pie dessert spread. And now I ended up with two of those. I got one in two different boxes somehow. So I ate one tonight. It was a good topping for those sweet biscuits. So I have one left. And it's a very good addition. I would definitely recommend that one. Then I had the cheddar cheese pretzel combos here, and a Polish cereal bar that had sesame and honey. And G7, my favorite instant 3-in-1 coffee, the G7 comes out of Vietnam. I love this stuff. So that's what I did for my birthday ration mashup. And of course, these Dubai cones, I decided to get a few of these out of this bag, and I'll save the rest for later. Pumpkin. That's not for kitties. Not for kitties. Pumpkin. I don't know what it is about a certain bag she wants to get into. Or she's just after plastic. I don't know. Mila used to like to lick plastic, especially tape on boxes, so I don't know what it is about plastic, but I just had to make sure she didn't have any of that to lick. She would also lick the shower curtain occasionally, but I'll have to do something to keep pumpkin out of that bag. But that's what I had for dinner. So once this goes back to replay, then you can see everything as I laid it out. I hope this is a really good, enjoyable surprise. Ever since I got that Korean entree, that, I gotta eat that on camera, but I gotta find some other things to go with it. And then I just accumulated more items. And of course, my birthday coming up. Oh yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing. So that's what I decided to do. Plus a couple of extra treats. You only turn 60 once. But I've been getting the birthday wishes on Facebook and on my community post that I put up earlier today. Had a couple comments on that. And of course, this light was my free birthday gift from Olight. This is the third one that I've received. They do a different color pattern each time. I had two of last year's birthday lights. Someone had sent me an extra one, so in October I gave that one to my oldest sister for her birthday. Of course, last month I gave out more Olights, and everybody that received them has liked them, and I gave a couple to some younger kids, my in-law great nephews. And I gave my great niece a light like this, but a different pattern. When she was younger, I gave her one of the original O bulbs. That one happened to be in pink. That was a limited run of that one. I have one of those myself, but I gave her a pink one. But now she's got one like this. And my oldest sister keeps her birthday light in her car. She had not kept a flashlight in her car before, now she does. And I give away a bunch of i3Es when we do giveaways at the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow. At the end of it, we did not do a giveaway last year, but I had those lights on me in case we did. But I'm hoping that this year we will do that giveaway and I can give away a bunch more of those. In fact, another Olight collector had just sent them to me, offered to pay him for them, but he happens to be a member of another indigenous tribe, and he said, yeah, I want to donate these. So I was very appreciative of that. I didn't get to give them out last year, but I hope to this year. but I like spreading the light around. Pumpkin's trying to see what's up. I don't have anything up here for the pumpkin. No, I don't. There's nothing up there for the kitty. Pumpkin. That toy down there I stuffed with catnip that I grew myself. I really enjoyed putting this whole thing together. When I was digging through my boxes of stuff, what can I put with this Korean entree? I knew I had that little packet of that Taiwanese wasabi peas. Oh, those will be good. I might give it a little spice. And when I saw these in Hillel Groceries, oh yeah, I gotta grab these. So I did. There's another kind of Dubai chocolate, but this one, these pistachio filled cones. Yeah, I gotta get these. And of course, I found I wanted goodies from other countries. So the apple soda's from Mexico, coffee's from Vietnam. I had a Polish bar there. And of course, German labeled sweet biscuits that were made in Spain. Plus the the pretzel cheese combos and the apple pie dessert spread. The two American components. I thought it was a pretty neat little mashup. I could have gotten one of my Polish entrees that Delicious had sent me, but I was really wanting to try that Korean one. So that's what I did. And I would definitely recommend that one. I have no idea what it's called. But if I got a hold of that same one again, I would enjoy it. But for those that came in late, once you catch it on the replay, then you'll be able to see what it all looked like. And I do this every Sunday at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time, except during Ramadan and during Sundays where I am either out of town, like when I go to the lake every summer, Lake Icaria, which is outside of Corning, where my late dad grew up, spent a lot of his younger years. Or there may be an event that takes place on Sunday that I have to be at. Those are the only times where I would not be on here on Sunday evenings. And of course, I'll post up ahead of time. Ramadan is expected to start on February 18th. So from that first Sunday after that on till a little past the middle of March, I will not be doing these reviews on Sundays. I will be eating my dinner at the mosque. But I'll toss up a reminder ahead of time before that. So next Sunday we'll be back to regular rations. And speaking of, I received one package. I am expecting two more. One with the rations, and then I hit up another YouTuber's merch store, and I got one of his mugs. So I'm waiting for those to arrive, and when I do, I will open up all of those in one video instead of doing separate ones. And I will shout out the two Ubers, the YouTuber that I got the mug from, and then the person I got. Well, I paid for one ration, but the guy's gonna send me. The guy sent me another one, so I should have that sometime this coming week. And then I bought two off of eBay from the same seller. So I will have that one to open up as well. I'm just sitting on that one waiting till the other packages arrive. But I will be back to my regular ration stock next Sunday. I got two Canadian ones that I'm looking forward to digging into. Plus I have one halal MRE. I have some left from my 2022 pack case A and my 24 pack case B. I have a few of those left. So I already have enough to get me going up to Ramadan and maybe a couple weeks past it, but I wouldn't mind having a few more in stock. And I will be looking, I'll still continue to look for new rations, but I probably will not buy any more until after Ramadan. So towards the end of March, I will go after more rations to try to add to my stash. And I'm still going to try to find, if I can get a hold of another Polish ration that has the goulash in it, the real goulash, and not a can of beef lunch loaf. If I can find one of those, hopefully that is already in the US, then I can do that direct comparison between the American goulash emery, which I still have a second one. I'm holding on to that second one until I can find another Polish one. Because that's what I want to do with that. I want to do a direct comparison between the American goulash and the Polish goulash. And I'm hoping that one of my two Canadian rations will have cornbread in it, because I want to do a direct comparison between the American cornbread and the Canadian. So I hope to do that sometime. Because I do want that Canadian cornbread so I can do that. Pumpkin is underneath my little table. This silly little girl. And now she walks away. This silly little girl. Yeah, you Pumpkin. You silly little girl. Yeah, she moves on her own terms. I guess that's just what cats do. Finish off my coffee. Share with the table back, and then she comes back over here. Yeah, that's her down there. Yeah, she's licking herself. But I'm going to finish off with the last of my apple soda. My citron mundet. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me on my birthday dinner special. And I hope to see you back again next Sunday. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.